La, la, la. Okay, I think this is good. We got it. Okay, so I'm going to be going through your mini lesson here and seeing, and hopefully just showing you that it's not that difficult. I will tell you right away that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. There's lots of good resources out there, but I want you to really think about what you're doing. Okay, so like a cooking show, I have lots of things in the background so that this can go a little quicker. I've already worked it out. It took me a half an hour to do it. So that should be, per lesson, if I'm really thinking about it. I'm also going to tell you right now, it's a lot easier if you have the actual materials in front of you. If you know what your classroom is working on, if you know or have an idea, you can go find some of those materials online. Like if you know their textbooks or things like that, you can get the samples. Yeah, because pretending all the time makes it much more difficult if you don't have them right in front of you. So here's what we're going to do. Obviously, it's my name, right? And I really don't care if I spell wrong at this point. I'm just going to keep going. So my lesson title is going to be Cause and Effect. Grade level, I'm found a nice third grade one that I want to do. School, this is interesting. The type of lesson, I'm not introducing. We've been talking about cause and effect. I'm just pretending now. And this time I'm going to be introducing scientific informational text. So I'm going to say, like, we've been working on this in social studies, and now we're going to take a look at cause and effect in science using informational text. So because I'm a good teacher, I have already the standards in front of me. So I know, and of course, as a good teacher at the beginning of the year, I'm going to reacquaint myself with the reading standards so I know what we need to cover and where they're weak, and the MAPS test as well. Like that'll tell you, okay, these kids need to work on cause and effect. So that's something, another way to know where to zoom in. Okay, so that's with the code, we're going to the relationship between historical events, scientific ideas, or concepts. So that's why we're using the science text, how to read informational text. Okay, so the big ideas, this is in your words. Explain, this is the end of the journey, right? This is where we want to go at the end. So I already have it written out over here, but I'm saying that why is it so important? And again, this is for my benefit, because kids are going to ask you why, right? And that's a good thing. So we've got, it's critical that third grade students understand that every cause has a lasting effect, helps us better understand the information, and also frames the information in a schema. Like we know things just don't happen in a vacuum. It also helps making analytic connections, remembering Bloom's taxonomy, being able to analyze, and like if this happens, then they can jump in for that pattern recognition, which is so important. We have so many kids just kind of doing without thinking about what will happen. So the essential questions is in the student's voice. What really profound question, any kind of good inquiry starts with a research question. So I'm thinking that when we start, there's a game called What Comes Next? And we talk about, like, if I don't have my shoes tied and I stand up, what comes next? So that's the question, is just really thinking about what comes next. And I think that that's obviously, and especially in science, incredibly important, and in history as well. Okay, here's my ABCD. Forgive me, I'm going to copy and paste this. So I have my audience, third graders. My behavior is going to be, here we go. So third graders read and correctly identify cause and effect using scientific texts to 80%, yeah, mastery. So that's it. Third grader at the end of this lesson. Third grade students, I should say all. That's interesting, or not. I'm going to say the majority. How's that? There. Third grade students will be able to read and correctly identify, and that can mean a lot of things, but that's what we know we want them to do, cause and effect using scientific text with 80% mastery. Okay. And obviously I have my material, so I know what that cause and effect identification activity is going to look like. So why are you teaching it? And this is why I want you to think about it instead of because you told me to. Why is this important in a person's education? I mean, how is this going to apply? So here's what I have. I have scientific text demands students understand patterns and to be able to understand scientific laws and methods, correct? Right? So if we charge something with electricity, don't touch it. It could be as simple as that. You need to know cause and effect. That is so important, especially being a scientist. So how would I know that? I would have my materials in front of me. Or I could look at the standards too. Like, what's the point? So if you have trouble with that, let me know. Okay. So now the academic language that we were talking about, I'm going to make it super simple. There's no reason this has to be this profound dissertation. It doesn't. Keep it simple, stupid, right? Not stupid, you know what I mean? So I have, just real quick, my functions. We're going to identify and we're going to make connections. So we'll just say connection. Describe the syntax. I will have, so again, how am I going to support this? I can't just say, okay, now go do it, right? We're trying to support language development as well. Here we go. Anchor, I'll have an anchor chart because again, this is in the middle of, this is a continuous thing that we will have had a chart that we have made it as a class showing shoes untied, we fall. Thing gets, I don't know, something like you turn on, it goes out in the sun, it gets hot. The seed in the ground, it grows. So just understanding the connections between cause and effect. So that's what I'm thinking. We'll have an anchor chart showing examples. The discourse, how I'm going to use, they're going to use the language. They're going to be doing a classroom discussion, right, before they do their individual activity. So I'll say a classroom discussion on cause and effect, and we'll have different scenarios that we can come up with. Okay, in particular to the scientific texts. Again, since I'm making this up, I don't have them in front of me. You do. All right. So the vocabulary, remember we talked about like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. I'm going with my tier 3 because it's science. And, you know, that's a biggie for any kind of science is to understanding it. Okay, hold on. I'm copying and pasting it and it's not working. There we go. Okay. So I just have tier 3 vocab, right? Cause, effect, are ordinal words, first, second, last. And then I know that in 3rd grade, life science is a part of it where they talk about the plant and the seed. So we're going to maybe just review photosynthesis. So it'd be an excellent opportunity to bring your science curriculum during the English language arts block.